Hey everyone, this is a totally random video, but I got a download and I wanted to share it with you. So it was like driving down the road because I was on my way to run an errand, then go to the gym. And when I'm driving, a lot of time I'm like really connected. Just like my body is on autopilot driving the vehicle, and then I'm just sitting there zoned out, connected to my higher self, because right now there's no kids or anything around me to cause the distraction. But anyways, I was like laughing because I was like, Spirit, I appreciate you so much. And then I just laugh and I was like, even though you're just all the different aspects of me right now that are in different past and future lives right now. And I just laughed, and I was like thinking about somebody who had recently talked about twin flames in a video, and how like the soul and spirit has brought this information to me before. Everyone's like, oh, you complete each other, but it's not that. It's two different souls from the same source, right? But where people get confused, like, how can, it's like an amoeba. You know how you have like one amoeba, and then it just kind of like branches off into two, but that doesn't make these two like half, or it doesn't make the main amoeba less. It's like they're their own wholes too, you know? So now you have two, and they can branch off and branch off and branch off. And every single branch, or I don't want to say branch, every single little amoeba that's created, and it keeps going and expanding, is still a whole, like divine masculine, divine feminine, that holy trinity. It's its own whole, right? And so I said, the trippy thing, Spirit, does that, because the twin flame thing, we have like, what is it, same soul, two different bodies or something like that. And I was like, it's that same thing. The weirdest part is that two amoebas, two souls, can live in the same lifetime together with each other, but they're in two different bodies. They were raised by two different parents in two different environments, in two different genders. Like, he's a man, I'm a woman, you know what I mean? And you see how your own soul is expressing itself through a different avatar, from a different perspective. And it was like this, like, epiphany. It was like I already knew that, but it made more sense to me now. Like, when I was just sitting having this conversation with Spirit, laughing about how I'm just appreciating different aspects of myself from the future or the past that are supporting me now, or in higher, like, spirit guide type. Well, that's what your spirit guides are, different aspects of yourself. They can be archangels and things like that, but, or pass on relatives. But if you think about it, Lance could pass on now and be one of my spirit guides, and he's still a different aspect of me because we came from the same source. And that's where this whole oneness thing gets connected, and like it gets so confusing, because it's like, yes, you are this unique thing, that's where the stupid paradoxes come in. It's like, you are so unique and you have such a amazing perspective to bring through, to give the whole, right? To make that whole more diverse and more expansive. But in the same respect, you still came from the same source. So you're just using a different avatar. And that's all it is. It's this creativity of the universe. But it's funny because my youngest son, a couple of weeks ago, we were sitting on the beach, and he just came up to Lance and he was like, Lance, you're in the future? And I was like, where did that come from? I got a little excited as a parent because I'd never coached him or tried to indoctrinate him on much. Like, if he asks me a question, I'll be honest. So he knows about like incarnation and death and just little things here and there. I try not to push it. I try to let them kind of lead when it comes to a lot of that stuff. But I always, do little seeds and nuggets and stuff. But I definitely never said that every single aspect of you is simultaneously living at the same time in the future, in the past, and all that. Because I never would have thought that he would be able to grasp that as a 7-year-old. Yet somehow he says that, and I'm like, okay. This is when you're humbled as a light worker and as a spiritual teacher, that you may be an old soul, but your child may be an ancient soul, and he hasn't lost as much memory as you, and maybe like he has a lot to teach you, and to just open up and be more childlike. And yeah, and I've also had to work, my 7-year-old is really, really being activated right now. He was woken up the night before because he had a rough dream, and I had to like you know, all along, anytime my kids have worried about dreams or the dark or anything, like I teach them about protection and all that kind of stuff. That is the most important thing, I think, with kids, is just to teach them how to protect themselves, teach them how to be sovereign and confident in what power they hold within themselves. So that's mostly what I work with my kids with. But I don't really work with my kids. We just live life, and when things come up, we talk about it, you know. And that's John Holt. If any of you guys know anything about John Holt, he's like the founder of Unschooling, and he wrote a bunch of books. And oh my gosh, I learned so much about how kids are learning all the time, and the less we try to control them, the more they'll be able to come into their unique expression of who they are. In this avatar that they chose to come into, he doesn't go into the spiritual aspect of things, but he doesn't realize how much he really brought to the homeschooling, unschooling. Well, he founded the unschooling, but what he brought, his perspective brought to that movement. So yeah, I wanted to bring that up because like a lot of people get confused about that kind of thing. And that's why even if say you think somebody is your divine counterpart, but they're not doing the work, and that's their free will, and there's nothing you can do about it. If you understand like the science behind the fact that we're all whole, we all are whole. There is no one that like we came here and said we have to meet. We knew free will was involved. So anybody who's like going through it in that aspect of things, like if you have had a million signs from the universe that it's time to let go and it's time to like focus on you, like follow that so you're able to get out of that cycle. I don't know why spirits bring this up. I did not plan on talking about this, but follow that intuitive hit and be strong in it. And right now it's not easy to be strong because like everybody needs support right now because of everything going on in the world. So it's hard to go through that. Like I feel for people who are waking up like their first couple dark nights of the soul and stuff right now, because to combine that with everything going on in the world right now would be very, very challenging. I'm kind of glad that my awakening was kind of gradual. Like Lance and I activated each other, and when you activate that Kundalini energy, like it can either be like this crazy hard hit, or it can be this gradual thing. And that's what it was for me. I had already been waking up for like a decade before I met him, and then, you know, so yeah, totally have to support each other right now, especially people who are new coming into this, because it is these energies. Like, what is her name? I follow this chick on Instagram, and she always has like it's like a cosmic radar almost. It looks like a weather report, but it's showing like the earth and like the energies that are working around it. And then she sometimes reports on like the Schumann resonance and stuff, and everything has been like nothing that we've ever seen before. On 7/7, which I didn't even realize it was 7/7 when it was happening that day, like I'm telling you, like I could not get out of bed that day. I was so like I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. So if you guys are feeling crazy, like now, today's the first day I've been like, all right, I can actually go run some errands, go to the gym. I did go to the grocery store and did a couple other things during this past week, but for the most part I've just been like trying to just self-care times a million. Yeah, it's just been wild, and I've been in this space of emotionally and physically feeling it. I'm getting hit, but it's like my spirit knows with every single fiber within it that shit is getting real. Everything is gonna be 100% okay for anyone who has chosen the higher timeline. So don't be afraid. Follow your intuition. You'll be put where you're safe. And if it's a cycle for you of something that you have to face, and you do get put in a challenging situation, Spirit's probably just asking you to step up and be sovereign. Be sovereign. It's a challenge. It's initiation. This is the biggest initiation it's a mass initiation. That's why you see the two worlds split. You see people choosing what timeline they want to be into. or want to jump onto. So just be at peace with the fact that things are going to externally look crazier, but in the same respect, they're going to externally also look better, because there's two different timelines, and if you're confident in that timeline that you're choosing, if you even know that timelines exist, you're probably choosing the right one. But not necessarily, but I'm just saying, if you're watching my channel, you're probably you're resonating with the same timeline that I am. So I feel like I've already triggered away everybody that disagrees with my perspective. And you know, a lot of spiritual teachers kind of just didn't come forward and want to say where they stand in terms of everything going on in the world right now, but you can't really avoid it. Like, grow a pair and stand up for something, you know? That's how I feel about it. That doesn't mean you have to be out here like me talking about stuff and trying to wake everyone up. That's not what it is. It's about raising your vibration, being conscious of what's going on, and putting your energy where it can best be used for the masses. So are you going to put yourself in fear? Or are you going to put yourself in a high vibrational frequency that resonates with New Earth and changing things for the better? Because if we keep just going with the crowd, then we're going to be on a timeline that's not very pleasant, and maybe not even like maintainable vibrationally, like not being able to maintain the energies that are rising on this planet, Gaia, the consciousness of Gaia, the raising of the vibrational frequency of this earth. That's something, if you can't keep up with it, you're not gonna be able to stay. I always feel uncomfortable talking about stuff like that, because it's like, I don't know why I feel uncomfortable doing it on my channel, because you guys already freaking know the deal. But it's just like, there's this people pleaser side of Kelsey that gets challenged, but there's this also like warrior side of me that usually supersedes that. This warrior side that's like, we don't stand for bullshit and we're gonna call it out. And I've always had that spirit in me. I've always been a little that egoic side is not good of that though. That's where it's like, you know what I mean? So you can have that righteous anger and that sovereignty where you stand up for your rights. Like, think about Lee Dundas, like the civil rights attorney that's dealing with all the human trafficking and all that, or the human rights attorney, I'm sorry, who's on the Arise Freedom Tour. Like, you see that in her, like that righteous anger, like, hell no, Mama Bear, like, no way, no, you know? And then, but like a lot of people who have that gift also, you know, if you can't balance that, you'll be, the egoic side of that is like bitchy. It's like not knowing when to shut up, or making people uncomfortable, or like, you know, the list goes on. And that's something I had to deal with, you know? And so, yeah, I'm just trying to show you guys a different aspect. You know, I go off on a million tangents. I just popped in so I could share that download with you and speak a little bit about my son, because I don't really talk about the kids that much, and you know, majority of my time is spent with them, and there's a lot of cool things that come about that we learn together. I've got to make a video, just a video about conscious children and stuff like that. So, but anyway, just want to check in with you guys, and I love you and have an amazing week.